Hello and welcome to week 12 of the radio class, and today we're going to fill in just one little gap that we've had for a while in the technology portion of the course, and that is multi-track editing. So we're going to talk about multi-track editing. Okay, multi-track editing in the context of doing audio sweeps, and the audio sweeps would be, of course, commercials, things like that. And so really quick, types of editing that you're already familiar with. First of all, when you have your audio file up on the big screen and you see the little squiggly line or the big squiggly line, that's called waveform editing. And that's what we've been doing up until now for the most part. Now, multi-track editing is really not that much different, except in this case, you have more than one track which you can edit at the same time. And the reason you do that is so that you can have more than one audio source that you're bringing in. And it's actually simpler than it looks, but you don't have the ability to do some of the things that you would have in waveform editing. So in waveform editing, just to sort of brush up on this, you're looking at the actual signal from beginning to end. Now, when you're doing your recording, you're building that signal. And when you're editing, you see it in front of you and you're sort of paging through it. And then if there's a flub, you can get rid of it. You can apply effects to the waveform. You can modify the volume. You can make it louder or softer. And you can remove glitches, so you can highlight a section of the waveform and delete it. And then, of course, you can also do the spectral editing, which we talked about also. And basically, in multi-track editing, you can use and reuse audio files to make a finished whole. For example, each audio file can have its own track. You can have music on one track, you can have voice on the other. You only have to adjust the volume once. You get the volume right on the music, it's right all the way on that track. And these are completely separate so that they don't accidentally mix. And you can have a consistent track with just music or with multiple voices. You can have different voices on each track. And so that's why we're doing this. And it's non-destructive, meaning that you're mixing and layering the audio effects, but you're not permanently mixing them. So if you say, you want the voice to begin a little sooner, you can just scoot it over and you'll see what I'm talking about. And for sweeps and commercials, this allows you to construct complicated presentations where you have more than one audio effect. You can have sound effects, you can have music, etc. And you can go back and make adjustments. You can also have it as a boilerplate, so you can have the same basic background music and just make spin the thing off more than one way. And it can contain voice, music, and even sound effects. So those are things to think about. What you must do is make some sweeps for your show and for a collection. So the sweeps that you make for the show, I want you to leave them in the radio room within the class folder, not 2020, fall 2020, and so that other students can use them in their shows and so that we can put them in the scheduler. Okay, so to introduce this, here we are in Adobe Audition. Now, if I were to go over to my File button here, and I were to open a file, I'm going to make something simple just so you can see how this works. And so, normally as you're doing this, if you already have the audio that you're looking for, you can do it this way. For example, I have, I think that's the wrong one. I have chapters, and I have a bunch of I'm going to grab what's called back matter, and this is a sweeper for an audio book. And there's actually a lot of back matter here. So if I open this up, back matter is the stuff that you would see in the back of the book, and this may not even be an edited file. So if I move my pointer here, and this, by the way, is a waveform edit.
If you have enjoyed this book, please take a moment to If you have enjoyed this book.
Yeah, you see, this is an example of getting rid of a flub. So that was a false start. So I just highlight and get rid of it. I play this part again.
If you have enjoyed this book, please take a moment to write a review on BookBub, Goodreads, or Amazon.
Okay, and that's pretty good. So that's all we're really going to use. We're just going to use that little section there. And just for the heck of it, I'm just going to get rid of all of this. So if I delete all that and I'm left with this.
If you have enjoyed this book, please take a moment to write a review on BookBub, Goodreads, or Amazon.
I can even shorten that little pulse there, and that's it. And so that's going to be one of the files that we're going to look at. But I want to put some music behind it. And so if I open up another file, and let's see what we got here. I'm just going to go up one. And I have this particular music file, which is called Creepy Egypt. And if I open that, I get this. And you can hear the music. Now all I'm going to demonstrate is how I can use these two different audio files. Notice that they're still here in the project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from waveform to multitrack. I'm just going to hit multitrack, and then it's going to open up what's called a multitrack session. So I'm going to call this multitrack_demo. And I'm going to leave the settings the same, and I hit OK. And immediately I get a different screen. And so these are the tracks. Every track, right now they have different colors. And I'm going to take that music, Creepy Egypt, and I'm going to put it in a second track. And it's telling me that that this sample is slightly different than it expects. I'm just going to ignore that, just hit OK. And what I want to do is I want to have the music come in first. So if I play the multitrack session, and so it could be that I want that music to not, because right now the music is basically 5 seconds long before it gets to this point. So let's say I want it to begin a little bit later. I'm going to grab the very end point of that. I can do this two different ways. I can grab it and drag it, or I can grab the razor blade from up here and I can just cut it. And then grab the pointer and I can get rid of that. So I can move this in a little bit. I could even grab the volume wire and pull it down so that I recreate that fade. Okay, so if that's where I want to put my voice, I have my back matter edit file, and I can drag that over here. And so there's my voice. Now let's see how that works.
If you have enjoyed this book, please take a moment to write a review on BookBub, Goodreads, or Amazon.
Okay, so far so good, except the audio is a little bit loud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my music, and every time I double click on there, I create another point. I'm just going to bring that music down as soon as the voice starts. And you can control that pretty easily. And so if I play this now,
if you have enjoyed this book, please take a moment to write a review on BookBub, Goodreads, or Amazon.
and if I want to also, I can add another control point there and bring the music up after the fact.
On BookBub, Goodreads, or Amazon.
And I can even decide that this is the point where I want it to fade out. And I can even, after that point, grab my razor blade again and basically put a nice little finishing touch there. And get rid of the rest of that. And so this would be multi-track edit. So what do you do with it next? Well, right now it doesn't really do anything. You have to export it as a file. So I would have to go to File, Export, Multi-Track Mixdown, the entire session because I don't have any wasted space there. And I'm going to tell it where to go. And I'm going to export that as an MP3 file. And I'm just going to call that back_matter. And if I hit save and OK, it will basically blitz through that. And so if I'm here, I see I've got my backmatter.mp3. If I double click on that.
If you have enjoyed this book, please take a moment to write a review on BookBub, Goodreads, or Amazon.
And there it is. And so you can Make as many of these as you want. You can even use the same template and produce more than one. And you can use as many tracks as you possibly need. They go on forever, basically. And so that is a very simple way to edit audio. So why am I telling you this? Because I want you to be able to create composite audio programs that you can control and have a certain amount of satisfaction with. This is also a useful way of making completed shows and other things like that.